Chapter 25. A few seconds after he finished drinking, Dargo realized something was wrong. He looked at his goblet, curious, and then looked at Andor, who still had his hand on his goblet but hadn't picked it up. Dargo placed his free hand on his chest and made a face.
"What's happening to me?"
Anila stood up. "You've been poisoned, and that poison is slowly but surely killing you." He frowned at her, and then dropped his goblet.
"I will leech everyone in this room if I have to."
His breathing quickened, and I could see he was sweating heavily.
"I will kill you for this, Anila."
He looked to the woman closest to him.
"You. I will have your life."
He reached for her, but instead of making contact, his hand went through her. She disappeared a second later. Dargo's eyes widened as the room quickly emptied. Nearly everyone at the table, including Andor, vanished. The only people left were Mom, Anila, Estevan, Victor, and myself.
"What is this deception?"
Dargo screamed. "After you sent invites," Anila said, "we made it so the islanders would not come to the palace. Andor, however, couldn't be persuaded, so we drugged him and left him in his bed. I will deal with him later. We also had Verna and the cooks leave. You are alone." I remembered trying to explain to Verna how the teleporter in the closet worked. It had taken a lot longer than necessary. That woman knew how to cook, but that appeared to be the extent of her knowledge. "As for what's happening to you," Anila continued, "I convinced Verna to slip the poison into your drink. It has no antidote," Anila added convincingly. "You will die if you don't leave Josh's body immediately." Dargo smiled with Josh's lips.
"I am not alone in this hall. I have you 5.
On cue, we all grabbed our own goblets. "We also have poison in our drinks," Anila said, and this time she wasn't lying. "We didn't want to chance Dargo's ability to leech. If you try to take our lives, we will drink, and you will be right back where you started." Dargo leaned against the table, looking much weaker by the second. His breathing was loud and squeaky, and he looked like he'd run from one end of the island to the other without stopping.
"Are you really ready to kill your friend in order to get rid of me?"
"You better believe it," Estevan said. "I'm new to the island, but I do know you tried to kill everyone I care about on the mainland. If killing Josh kills you as well, it will be worth it. Josh knows that as well as we do."
"Tried to?"
Dargo asked, sitting down in his chair.
"Even now my plan is in motion to kill the outsiders."
I smiled. "Not anymore. Not only did I kill your birds, but I also took your cure to the mainland. As we speak, everyone infected is being cured." He frowned at me. I doubted Josh could look that angry on his own.
"I'm going to kill you, sweet thing. All I have to do is return to my skeleton, and then from there I can possess anyone I choose."
We all looked at each other, feigning worry. Anything to convince him to leave Josh. Hopefully, he would get lost trying to locate his skeleton and would simply perish. Instead, he looked curious while sweat completely covered his face. My heart sped up the more time Josh suffered the poison. I didn't know how much time was left to give him the antidote.
"Why can't I locate my body?"
Dargo asked.
"I just checked it before dinner."
He looked at me.
"What did you do with it?"
So much for that plan. Mom suddenly groaned. Dargo stared at her, concentrating. It took me a second to realize he was using Josh's leeching ability to cure himself. Mom reached for her goblet but couldn't grab it, so I picked it up and brought it to her lips. Dargo released her and she started coughing.
You weren't bluffing, he said, chuckling weakly. Oh well, I shall venture outside the palace and find someone else.
He pushed his chair back with such force that it shattered against the wall behind him. There's no one on the island, I said. I sent them away.
Impossible. The train is guarded by my own loyal men, and they wouldn't dare defy me. I made sure of it.
I didn't say I used the train. He looked up.
Ah, you sent them to your father. Clever. You know I can't get up there without the aid of a nature demon. I didn't think you could either. Though, you forget one thing,
he said in a way that scared me.
Andor is asleep in his bed, as you said earlier. I conversed with him plenty of times after I was released, so I know where he lives. Good luck getting to him, Victor said. You'll have to go through us, Dargonius. I plan to do just that.
And then he roared, sending wind so powerful it shot all of us, including the table and chairs, into the air. The large hall door splintered open, and just before I landed, I saw Dargo flying past us and out of the palace.